Here at Stamford Bridge, a little bit of nerves from to the fans in the end. How did you feel about the overall performance?
Well, a big performance and a big win. It's very difficult to come to this place against such a team with the quality that they have in every department and do what we've done throughout the game. But it's true with the 1-3 and the dominance that we showed and the two big chances that we had to put the fourth one. In the best moment, they scored a goal that obviously changed the game. But yeah, overall very happy, but it could have been better.
Let's start with the positives. Viktor Gyokeres had a really good performance this evening. Do you think when he is not necessarily scoring goals, some of his qualities go unnoticed? Because in commentary they were talking about how much work he was putting in during the game, even before he scored.
Yeah. But that's normally with all the strikers. At the end, the expectation is to score, and we demand much more than that. And Victor has been exceptional in a lot of departments. Today he's done as well what is, in my opinion, his best qualities, which is to put the ball in the back of the net. But he's been in those positions many times. Today the ball arrived to the right area, and he did what he had to do.
Zubimendi scoring again, something he didn't used to do much before he joined Arsenal. What are the features of this team that you feel enables him to just explore his goal-scoring side?
Unlock him, because he can do anything, and he needs to believe that he can do anything. He can occupy various spaces. He's really good at carrying the ball. He has really good timing arriving in the box, and he's very composed, as you've seen in the goal. For a holding midfielder to do what he's done, it's quite rare.
We were talking to Ben White just now, and he said that in the second half, Arsenal kind of did it to themselves, that you guys didn't play to your usual standards. Did you see that, and why do you think it was the case, if you agree with him?
Well, in some part, especially on the defending part, in certain aspects. In other aspects, we were very good. And sometimes as well, you have to give credit to the opponent. I mean, they have players that they unlock that duel, and then they are running into you. And that's what they are capable of doing.
Yeah. What did you think Chelsea did in the second half, especially bringing more pace into the game, maybe in the final third, to make things a little bit harder?
Well, they opened up the game because the heights that they put certain players as well, they were more of a threat every time we lost the ball, or they win a second or a duel, but at the same time they were as well much more exposed.
Still, Arsenal hasn't lost a game where you took the lead. 23 wins, the first time. If you score after that, 23 wins. Is it one of the many shows of maturity and composure that this team can demonstrate?
Yeah, it's always ideal to start the game. I think we have improved as well when we have conceded a goal after to come back and win it. So, yeah, it's half-time. We are happy tonight, and let's start to prepare the next game.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Arsenal, but it could be better than one goal difference. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it's half time. Well, we played against a really good side, obviously, in a really difficult place, and I'm very proud of what the team has done. We got the win, but as you said, there was a period with the 1-3 that we had two massive chances to do the 1-4, and in our best moment is when they scored from the corner. So yeah, happy, but it could have been better.
Both teams delivered excitement for the game, and this will add maybe more excitement in the second leg at the Emirates.
Well, you want to start to play semi-finals and all the work that you've done through the season to start to get to these stages. You have to deliver on the day, and we certainly done that. I'm very happy with that, and doing what we do in every 3 days, it's impressive.
We've seen Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, more competition in the front third for the team. What does it mean for you at this stage of the season?
Raise the level, and we need them. So we haven't had them all season till December, and now we start to get back some players as well. They're going to be so important. We're going to have minutes for everybody, I'm sure, with the amount of games that we have. So very happy to have them.
Mikel, this is the 32nd games of the season. You only lost 2 at the Liverpool and Aston Villa in all competitions. Everyone feels there's something different at the team this season. Something maybe you have to looking to win something. The team looks more solid at this stage. How is the atmosphere in the dressing room?
Well, every team is different. I think we're in a really good moment. We earn it because we worked so hard for it. The team is really focused. The boys really want to make another step because we've been so close in the last 3 years, and we're going to try our best.
He's very happy, isn't he? I mean, he is not giving the impression of someone who feels that they've let Chelsea off the hook a little bit tonight.
No, I think before the game he would have taken that result. I think he is happy because he knows that it is a really difficult place to come, even though Chelsea had a lot of injuries and a few players out. It's still a London derby. Everything can happen. It's a cup game. And the matter that they played, majority of the game, they were in control. Yes, of course, they're going to want to score more goals, but you can't have everything. But they have got the win, and they're going now back to their own stadium, and they're playing them in 2 weeks, where he would think that they would be able to control it as well. But for Chelsea's point of view, and you know, that's what we want to see, and he brings it. And he's a little bit unlucky not to have a goal, because he had twice that he had a really good shot at the goal, but he's an exceptional player, and he's only going to get better.
Time to find out what Liam Rosenior made of it all. He's with Natalie as well.
A really well-fought win here at Stamford Bridge. How did it feel?
Yeah, I think it was a tough game. We defended well. They were, as always, dangerous when they get counterattacks, but I think we defended well. And yeah, unfortunately we conceded 2, but I think offensively we scored 3. So yeah, we're happy with that.
How much fight did you guys have to show defensively, especially in that second half when Chelsea was just pressing you guys until the end?
Yeah, I think we kind of done it to ourselves. We didn't play very well in the second half, and let them give us more pressure really, and then yeah, that's how we probably conceded the goals, and not up to our standards really. So it's a bit disappointing in the second half, but yeah, win.
Well, going to the positives, both of your goals, starting with you, Ben. Could you talk a little bit about that corner and how you got into that position? Because you found a space and had a quite comfortable header.
Yeah, we knew there was going to be a free man, so it was just finding that, and worked out early, and I was free and managed to get into a good space.
And then the cross. Sanchez had a little bit of, so it's not technically yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah, because he had the hand. But yeah, but you guys have a really good connection since you guys played together at Brighton, right?
Yeah, under 21s, isn't
it? Does it help when you're looking for him in the box?
Yeah, of course. I knew he was going to be waiting for the ball across. Yeah, I didn't really look, to be fair. I just tried to fire across.
Did you see Ben's intention before he hit the cross? How? Because you guys really understand each other on the pitch.
Yeah, I think it's not his first assist to me, so yeah, I knew he was gonna try to find me, and yeah, he did. So it was nice.
Does that goal, Viktor, shows a lot of your strengths in just being in the right position at the right time and just poaching the ball?
Yeah, that's what I need to do, and I can do it more often. So yeah, we won today, and we keep going.
Well, how big does it feel, this win? Because they scored twice, but you guys showed a lot of fight. There's still the second leg.
Yeah, I mean, this is still the second leg, but of course it's good to come away with a win and advantage for the second leg. But yeah, we still have to do a good performance in the second match.
Well done for you both. Viktor, your player of the match. Ben, do the honors, please.
My guy.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sort of sense there's a little bit of disappointment there that they've let Chelsea back into this, don't you?
Yeah, I felt so. It was a game that they could have been really comfortable in. They made a lot of changes towards the end of the game, Arsenal. I just felt that goal that Chelsea got right at the end it's put a nice complexion on from the manager's point of view, from Liam Rosenior, but from Arsenal's, they'll be kicking themselves a little bit. I think they'll put on a brave face. Yeah, it's still a good result. And by the way, they took it before the start of the game. But this game could have been dead and buried. It had that feel to it. But fair play to Chelsea, they hung in there.
I would have loved to see him a little bit happier, though. Yeah, they could have done so much better, I think. And that's what they expect. But on the other hand, you're at Chelsea. Eh? You are at Stamford Bridge. It's not an easy place to come. You have won. You have scored, but you haven't done enough. Yeah, you want to do it more. Enjoy these moments.
And an assist as well.
Yeah.
That's probably his best moment in an Arsenal shirt as well tonight. In a big game, that's what they bought him for, Jim.
Exactly.
But as a number 9, you understand that pressure as
London Derby. Yeah, enjoy these moments.
Because that's what you're in it for, aren't you, as well?
Enjoy these moments. It wasn't perfect, but you have to give Chelsea credit as well. they're going to keep on fighting, and they kept on fighting. Clear-cut chances Arsenal didn't really create. The really great goal was credible. The real was Zubimendi, yeah. But you got a goal. You got to go at a position where you need to be. You were there, where a striker is supposed to be and score. You know, so you have done your job. Have a smile, keep on going.
Before we get on to his goal and his assist, we'll look again at the first goal. Now, Ben White said to Natalie there, they worked out early on that they would end up with a spare man and it would be him.
Yeah, I think they probably underestimated how bad Sanchez would do for the goal as well, because he just completely flaps at it. He's not strong enough. And I don't really like what João Pedro does as well. Number 20 there, you can see him there. He's pretending he slipped. You've got 3 players on the goal line for Chelsea. They're the ones going to attack the ball. Not one of them really ends up getting anywhere near it.
So there's 4 on 3 there.
Yeah, absolutely. But then you've got João Pedro comes in to make the 4v4. Just gets under the ball. He's got his hands on his hips there, number 20. Why is he not in a ready position thinking, OK, this ball comes in, I'm going to come and attack it for my team? Look, he's not really looking at it. He's not looking at the ball. It's really poor, isn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah, look, you're there to do a job. You're there to stop your opposition having a free header. Be committed, go and attack the ball, and it's nothing difficult there. A little bit of commitment, and you can win that ball. And I think João Pedro will be very disappointed with that.
Can I ask you what may be a very stupid question then?
It's never stupid.
Well, it may be, but with your coaching hat on, you said you are there to stop your opponent heading the ball.
Yeah.
Why are you not there to head the ball yourself?
Well, maybe the defensive set-piece coach wanted the starting position for those 3 to be there. But then still, my mentality is, if I am not heading that ball away, you are definitely not heading that ball away.
But are we in an era of it's all about the block rather than somebody jumping 8 foot in the air and heading it?
Yeah,
that's what it feels like to a lot of fans. It's all about blocking rather than heading it.
Yeah, but at that position, he is not blocking. Nobody is blocking him. So he can go and meet Ben White and stay with him and have contact and head the ball away. He loses him. I don't know what has happened, if he loses the ball with the lights or whatever, but he loses it. And in that split second, he loses that concentration where White can head the ball in.
But there's an argument to say when teams go zonal, what it does, it takes away accountability. Because if you say to someone, right, I'm marking Jimmy Floyd-Hasselbank before a game, many years ago, you'd always have, that's your man, and I'm gonna stop him scoring. Yeah. Nowadays, that's gone. I mean, but when you talk about blocking and things like, when I watch Gabriel, it doesn't matter. He's not blocking people. He's heading the ball.
Yes.
For his own corners, and also when he's attacking corners. And I think that's where Chelsea were almost like rabbit in headlights.
It's a mentality
before that corner come in, I looked at them and I thought, they're not ready for this. And it's almost like Arsenal now, and don't get me wrong, they're incredible at set pieces. They are the best, and there's a fear factor now that's spreading throughout the Premier League and world football because of how good they are. But they didn't even have to do anything special to unlock Chelsea there. They changed it a little bit second half. They took those 3 men off the line, and it got us slightly better. And obviously the keeper come and took one, which gives you a little bit of hope as well. But that setup was completely wrong to start, because it doesn't matter what setup you've got. If you haven't got people attacking the ball, you have absolutely no chance, and no one attacked the ball with any ferocity whatsoever there.
The second goal for Arsenal, I mean, it's a mistake from Sanchez, but just from a striker's point of view, is this the kind of goal that will just... They all count. This the kind of goal that gets you confidence up?
Yes, of course, because you're feeling the net as a striker. And look where he is. He's in the middle of the goal. And here, Jamie spotted it. He gets disappointed that Saka doesn't cross straight away. He is in the middle of the goal. There is where you score goals. There is where your tally comes up. End of the season, nobody knows how many tap-ins. Yes, he is disappointed that the ball doesn't come straight away, but he's still there. Yes, it's a mistake from Sanchez, but you're there to tap it in. And these kind of goals, you can't get enough of them in the year. You know, you're there, bang, goal, gets on. And you see your name on the sheet as a goal scorer.
And I think that will be I'm sure his discussions with, obviously, the manager, etc., will this was a good night for him, exceptional night. But I could imagine, and I can't lie, I wasn't watching him at Sporting every single week, but a lot of the time, the crosses he would have been getting with the system they played with 2 wing-backs, predominantly would have been a right-footed right wing-back and a left-footed left wing-back. So he gets crosses. Once that ball gets wide, they're coming into him, and he knows he can make that first run across the post and get in there. When he plays for Arsenal, the major problem is Bukayo Saka plays on the right, he's left-footed. Martinelli, the same. He wants to cut back on his right foot. So when Bukayo Saka gets into that position to start with, instead of firing it across the face, he wants to chop back. So that's where the frustration comes, Jim. Because in your era, we predominantly played right-footed right wingers.
Yeah, but he has to demand that. He has to say, hello, doesn't matter with your right foot, just put it in. Because the moment it doesn't come and he cuts back, as what you say, he needs to find a second position. And that is so hard for a striker. So he has to get that connection, that demanding of those kind of players to put it just in. And they will score a lot more goals.
So almost, so he has to say to Bukayo, look, get that across the face for me.
Get angry, get it in. When you are past your fullback, only 1 yard, put it in. Put it in. Let those centre halves defend. Keep those centre halves honest that they have to defend. Because now they know the cutting back. Yeah, and rightly so. He gets upset that ball doesn't get there. You know?
Yep,
I would go absolutely ballistics.
Would you go absolutely ballistic if you were in your first 6 months at a new club?
Even more so then.
Right.
Because that is where you start. That is where you put your rules down.
Yeah.
You know? No, that's what I need. That's what I want. That's how we're going to win games. That's how I'm going to score. And you get that relationship, you know, with your wide players. Get that relationship. Make sure you say that to them. But you make sure that you are there as well every time. So that you score those kind of goals. You can score easily 10 of those goals. Okay, the goalkeeper is not always going to make that mistake. But if you go back, Esse has done that for him, where he scores the ball in the middle of the goal. It hasn't happened enough for him, and that is where they can help him a lot more.
We'll talk probably, I would have thought, about Liam Rosenier's substitutions defensively a little bit later on. But his substitutions further forward definitely did work.
Definitely worked. And I think as well, first half they were playing out and it was getting frustrating for the fans. This one, they actually bypass Arsenal's, it wasn't actually the most intense press, but then they get a little bit lucky. They win the second ball. Here, again, then I enjoy what he does here, Enzo Fernandez. He goes and wins. Then he wins a second ball. Then you all of a sudden you're going for another 50-50. The crowd are up. Then you work it wide and you got into the back post. You can see Garnacho there. Great run by Enzo Fernandez. He then occupies Ben White's space, which is so good. And this is what I enjoy what he did there. Enzo's role in this is so important. I'm going to highlight him because he goes and wins that one. Then he goes and wins a second ball there. Gets a bit of fortune, but then you need that little break. Then this is a run that Frank Lampard made all the time because then he would get into that area. Ben White would normally head that ball away, but he can't. Then it just falls because of the run. It falls to Garnacho, who finishes it really well. Nice bit of play from Chelsea. All of a sudden, the crowd are up. But playing out from the back, which they did all the time in the first half, it just gets the crowd edgy. I don't think the keeper enjoys it. The back four haven't played together before as a back four. Then they changed it up a little bit, bypassed that press. Then you get a little bit of success. And I'm not saying that's what you should do all the time, but it's just a little bit of football intelligence. And it doesn't have to come from the manager. I think you feel that as a player at times, Jimmy, didn't you? This isn't on. Let's miss that out.
And there's no harm with it, you know? It's not written in a book, you have to play like that all the time. Sometimes that long ball, that directness is very effective. And you could see that intensity of Enzo changed. And he's very good at those 50-50s. And then everybody is in top of their opponent straight away. And then they win the ball. And yeah, you're forcing something to happen. And that's what happened.
But it's effective, isn't it? It's effective in two ways, that kind of thing. Because one, it makes the opposition have to rethink because you're doing something different. But also, and we're right on top of the crowd here at Stamford Bridge.
We hear it, yeah.
You hear it. It changes the crowd want that.
Yeah. But they need to figure that out for themselves. They need to figure that out for themselves. They need to figure that balance. Okay, Now we're going long. Okay, now we can play. And we all want to see them playing to the third and beautiful passes and stuff when it works. But when you are playing against a team like Arsenal and they are brilliant at pressing and they want to win that ball high up, you have to go sometimes direct and change that dynamic.
You think, both of you do the Gyokeres assist is as important for him as the goal tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is what Arsenal do so well. They're good on restarts, they're sharp, they're always looking for that first pass. Zubimendi, I think, was talking about writing Cherky, yes, he's saying, signing the season. I think there's probably a lot of Arsenal fans thinking, oh, yeah, what about Zubimendi? And Zubimendi tonight has gone, oh, yeah, hold my drink. I'll show you how good I am as well. I mean, that is unbelievable play. On his left foot, right foot, it doesn't matter. Is he a number 6? Yes, absolutely. Is he a number 8? Yeah, he can be, but he can be a number 10. Look at this. He's so good. He just takes it with his left foot, another good touch there, and a wonderful finish. And great forward play as well by Gyokeres, Jimmy.
Yeah, first of all, Gyokeres, well done. It stuck, it stayed, and you lay it off to your midfielder. And then Zubimendi, what a talented player he is. Wait, keeps on looking, keeps on being very composed, and then hits it with his left, and the keeper has got no chance. Very well done from the kid.
Great son.
We were talking pre-match, weren't we, off air about, obviously you were on the bench for the Euros final, and Rodri goes off injured, and
we're like that, and
England hopes and probably thinking.
Me personally, it was 0-0. I'm seeing Rodri coming off. I'm thinking, you're not saying it, you're thinking it. You're like, oh, he's coming off. Okay, yeah, we have got a chance now. We're gonna go for it. Yeah, we're gonna control the midfield, and then he comes in and
we can overpower this little fella. He can't handle, and all of a sudden just pop. Yeah. Every time the ball comes into him, knows the angles.
So composed, so calm, knows exactly what to do. And you're thinking, who's that? You know, you already obviously know at Real Sociedad everybody's talking about him, but I didn't think that he was that good, and he knows what he's doing.
And he's also got 4 goals and 3 assists now this season. And for somebody who probably, when he came in, a lot of people's perception was he'd just sit at that base and knit it together. No, but that would have been the perception of it.
He's so much more without the ball, and people don't talk about this. He sits in front of the opposition striker, and he reads the passes that come to that striker, and he intercepts so many balls. And the moment he intercepts so many balls, they are straight away off. And he plays forward if he can. He's got everything in his game. He's got in his game where he can start the play, he intercepts, he tackles. He is very good at that 1v1, you know, so he doesn't let loose. It's like a little terrier, you know, he stays at it. He makes little free kicks at the right moment where he doesn't get yellow cards. Very smart player.
I think if we roll it back to when Rodri came to the Premier League, he found it tough.
He did.
He didn't have half the impact this guy's having at an early stage. After 8 months of being here, the goals, the assists, the awareness, everything that he's doing. I mean, he is... I'm not saying he's the missing piece in the jigsaw for Arsenal, because there's still a long way to go. But if they win the title, a lot of people will point at him and say, that was a real moment for us. Because he's freed up Declan Rice. You can see Declan enjoys. They've got a great relationship. He puts out in terms of his positional sense, but also every time he gets the ball, he's progressive with his passing. He's looking to break lines. He doesn't play safe all the time. Wonderful player to watch.
And yet, they will only go into the second leg with a 1-goal lead. How good a finish is this from Garnacho? Rather, how difficult a finish is this?
It is very difficult because the ball comes out bouncing, and his technique is really good. He goes on top of the ball, so the ball goes down. And then because it is a little bit wet, the pitch, it takes a little bit more pace, and they can't stop it. Very, very well taken. Really good technique. If you look here, he goes over the ball and it goes down. Well done.
Arsenal get a lot of plaudits for their attacking set pieces. I don't know if we can just see that again, because that's as bad a setup as you could see. When the ball's when you're coming in, you're 3-1 up. We're making sure, can we get to the end of this match? You can see they're front-loaded, everybody there. They're all the Arsenal players as that ball then comes in. You've got Bukayo Saka at the back post. If that ball then comes out to Garnacho, he's got 10 yards of space to get a free shot. That isn't really what you'd expect from Arsenal. Look, the three players at the back post, it could have fallen to any of them.
Yeah.
It could have fallen to, is that Santos? Or obviously it falls to Garnacho. That's really unusual for Arsenal to leave so much space there. And it gets them back in the game. It gives them a bit of belief because I think the manager deserves credit. It hasn't been an easy night for him. As I said before the game, you know, the lap is going to start for you. He's ill. You have to then obviously change it. You bring a young player that was going to be playing in the Youth Cup tonight. He has to come off the bench. I think defensively he must have made 4 or 5 different changes to that back four. And I think he's probably looking at it thinking, what is my best back four? As a Chelsea man, Jim, I'm trying to think myself, is it, you know, obviously Colwell's injured, he's really important for them. Is it...
He's got no Gusto,
is
he's
it
got
Fofana,
no James.
is it Chalobah?
No, he has got no Gusto, he's got no James, but also he needs to watch out with Fofana's load. So he has to come off. He can't play 90 minutes, and he has got Saturday to play as well.
Chalobah toss in. He's trying to fight. That will take time, won't it?
Well, he's going to look at everybody. I think he will know everybody, but he's going to want to give everybody an opportunity, and he's going to want to have a settled back four. You know, and he will make his decision.
I think that I honestly think they've got to try and, if they can, get someone in the window, a centre back.
Right.
I think it's important for them. I think they need another one. And not just another body, another elite player. And it's not going to be easy, but if there's anybody they could get in, I think that's an area where they need to strengthen. People obviously might talk about the keeper who's made 2 ricks tonight, so that's another area they've got to look at.
But it's all very well saying they need a centre-half. What kind... If they are looking for a centre-half, what kind of centre-half...
Experience.
But that goes against their model, though,
but you sometimes... Yeah, but I think...
So do you think they park their model because needs must?
Yeah, I think that if they were... They'd say, not necessarily mistakes. What would we have changed, if anything, with this model? I think they would just sprinkle a little bit of what you call experience into the mix. Just someone... Like, you can't get Thiago Silva's, because they're just almost unicorns, those guys. But somebody that can just add a little bit of experience when things are going against you. When we see that set piece where they lose the goal, somebody that's going to organise, someone that's going to talk. You can't find John Terry's; they're not available anymore. They just don't exist. No. But somebody that can just give you a bit of authority.
Late 20s, early 30s.
It's all right saying it, by the way.
If that is the case, that is going to be, especially in this market in January, is going to be really tough to find the right person, the right character, because that is going to be the most important thing as well.
It's been done before. Virgil, Liverpool side Virgil, and it changed everything for them.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the one thing that they probably just need to do, and if they can find some experience.
I think we would take Virgil.
but it's a January signing. He was one of the best ever.
Their former player is a captain of Crystal Palace and out of contract in 6 months. But is that not possible?
Look, I've seen him from close. He's a wonderful player. Very, very good centre-half. I don't know if they would be looking at him, but they will be knowing him really better than me. Yeah. You know, so... but
and Mark Gay's got the pick of his...
Yeah,
his by all accounts.
Yeah. I think in the summer, if he waits, he's going to get all of the money. So, but the downside is if he were to risk it, and if God forbid he gets an injury or something like that, then that's the risk you're playing with. But if he were to move now, and Crystal Palace won't want to, well, I don't know whether they want to sell him. At least you're going to get something out of it. I don't know. But that's a sort of quality that you want. A player that could really lead, has obviously had vast experience in the Premier League or whatever top league it is.
Just one final thing from the game to look at. You've highlighted where Sanchez went wrong tonight.
This is amazing.
This would have been game over.
Brilliant. Great strike from Marino. He thinks as he hits that one on his wrong foot, that's in all day long. He can't believe it. It's a really good save. He comes out, makes himself big, Jimmy.
Yeah, absolutely magnificent. What a save. He had a difficult evening, but this is one of the best saves I've seen. So, he's done absolutely magnificent in that one.
Marino probably thought that was in, but...
Liam, how proud are you of the character, the fight the team showed until the end?
Yeah, I asked for that. I asked for that on that aspect in terms of energy, in terms of pressing, in terms of running back and helping the team. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Not happy with the result. Not happy with the manner of the goals we concede. The first goal, of course, it's a corner. You work on it. We need to be a little bit stronger in that moment. And then when we get back to 2-1, the goal comes from a restart. They take a quick free kick. We're not organised in our shape. They play through. These are small details, but at this level, if you don't get the details right, you don't win the game against a very, very good team. So, a strong start. I felt in the game. I felt we still have issues with our build, and that will be something we'll work on and we will address as we go forward. But what I asked for from my team was energy, was fight. They didn't give up, and we're still in the tie.
Yeah, a lot of aspects that you raised there. But
Yes.
first, on the positives, on the second half, why do you think the team looked more dangerous?
Game opens up in the second half. First half, I felt Arsenal blocked the middle space really, really well, where we wanted to have an overload. So the second half, we opened up the game. We used Esteval wider. We used Pedro wider. We opened up the game. And we've got some really outstanding players in 1v1 moments. So they showed some really, really good things today. A lot for us to improve, but at the same time, a lot of positive aspects.
I know you like to use your wingers very wide, very, very high as well. What does Garnacho offer in terms of the way you think about your wingers?
Yeah, they're all very good players. Garner can finish. His goal scoring record is very good. His 2 very good finishes today. I felt Pedro Neto was outstanding in both ways in terms of his pressing. I asked him to play 3 different positions. He went and did it for the team. So there are a lot of positive individual performances. We're missing a few players as well. Young Shim comes on, but I saw the fight in the team, and we're going to need that moving forward.
Going back to a few aspects that you raised, the first goal, why did it look so easy?
I haven't seen it back, I'll be honest, analysing so much. We know what they do. We know the areas that they put the ball into. We have to be stronger in the moment, and we'll work on that. For us to concede 2 goals from restarts, from set plays, we scored 1 as well, but we need to just clean up in that aspect.
On the first half, did you feel the team was rushing a little bit the build-up? Why do you think it wasn't happening?
No, it wasn't rushing the build-up. We didn't recognise the space was on the outside of the pitch. That's something for us to improve. I've been with the team for 6 days, but we want to win games now. You know, we need to learn quickly, and we have a huge game against Brentford on Saturday. We're in tomorrow. We'll analyse the game, and we make sure we improve.
And I know you're going to say it's not an excuse, the players you had that weren't available, but there were important players unavailable. How much did it impact the things you wanted to put into practice tonight?
Yeah, it's a hypothetical question. Arsenal were very strong. We have issues. Hopefully a few of the lads will be back for Saturday. Hopefully Cole, hopefully Reece gets over his knock on his hip. Hopefully Malo, Moy was suspended. I think missing that calibre of players is going to find it tough, but we're still in this tie. It's half-time, and if we show the same amount of fight and intensity and pressing and quality, but we make sure we switch on in moments, we still have a chance to go through.
Yeah, second leg only in February. You have more time with the team. How open is this fixture?
Yeah, it's going to be a really difficult game. We've another 4 games before that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this run of games so I can find out more about my squad.
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you.
Well, that run of games is 6 in 18 games. So when he talks about them recognising how to build, recognising where the spaces are, he hasn't got that much time, has he, to actually work with them in between all of those games?
No, first of all, I like how honest he is and what he said. I think he's going to be very clever because he knows that he's not going to be able to have all the time on the pitch, so he will have to do a lot inside and a lot of video, a lot of individual work, a lot of little groups and showing things and then talk back and learning like that. And then when he has more time and he can utilize the pitch a little bit more, it will be a little bit different. But now this coming month, he will have to be a little bit clever and looking after his players.
And if he gets Gusto back, if he gets Reece James back, if he has Caicedo back, it won't necessarily solve the centre-half problem that we were talking about earlier, but it does give them reinforce their solidity.
Absolutely, Mark. And that's what he's got to look at. Jimmy's spot on. This is not... We probably won't really see the shape or the idea of what a Liam Rosenior Chelsea side looks like probably till next season. He'll do bits and pieces, baby steps. But I think, right now, he's just got to... I looked at those games every 3 days. How can you work with a team every 3 days? You've got people injured. Some players won't be able to train maybe Thursday. They'll probably do nothing light, ice baths tomorrow. Friday, maybe get them out, little jog, stretch. And then you've got Brentford.
Saturday game, yeah.
Brentford are going to come here and they'll have looked at that yesterday. Keith Andrews, the way that he sets his team up, he's been fantastic so far this season. He'll identify set-piece opportunities, throw-ins, Coyote will be launching that ball into the box. Set pieces, they'll be attacking it. There'll be a lot of questions here the weekend. A totally different challenge. But you've got to it's like, Jim, you've got to get yourself ready for a big derby game. Now you've got another one coming, but a completely different proposition, but equally as hard.
And actually, a totally different mood around here. With no disrespect to Brentford, who are flying, Chelsea fans will probably turn up expecting a performance against Brentford. Now, I'm not saying they weren't expecting a performance against Arsenal, but it's that Arsenal were probably the favourites going into tonight.
No, you're right. They will expect a performance. They will expect a win, But I think the group itself will expect to win. Liam will expect to win. It won't be easy. It will be different than tonight. But that's what happens when you're playing for Chelsea. The expectancy is there, and you need to be able to deliver. And it's not going to be any difference on Saturday.
From here, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. You're right.
I'm just looking at the old pink lights out there. I've never seen them before.
Good. Probably best.
It's good for your skin. You should get under.
I
might go get a bit of red light therapy.
I might sleep down there now.
Nice and warm, though.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, both of us, by the way. I sorry, Mike. I sounded a bit.
I'll stay away from it.
Right, I'm off to see makeup. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Today at Stamford Bridge by 3-2 over Chelsea after Manchester City won 2-0 last night at St James's Park against Newcastle. And covering this game for us at CBS is James Benge, who is live from Stamford Bridge. James, let's talk about the performance that Arsenal puts in this game. Incredibly attacking, aggressive, going at Chelsea, creating tons of chances and getting their rewards in terms of the goals.
Yeah, one of the best performances Arsenal have put in recent weeks, maybe even this season. Really rewarded but for unloading their strongest 11. Martin Zubimendi particularly excellent, both in controlling the tempo of the game, breaking up attacks and then slamming into the box. And I think most significantly of all, given that Kai Havertz was literally bouncing on the bench in front of me, looking to get on the pitch. Viktor Gyokeres, maybe his best performance for a while in an Arsenal shirt. He got the man of the match, a poacher's goal, but also some really strong running of the channels. It felt like everything in an attacking sense was really clicking for Arsenal. And I think their frustration will be that they didn't get more than 3 goals. Mikel Merino spurned a good chance. Gabriel Jesus maybe should have had a penalty as well, but drifted offside. So this, for Arsenal, is a game that they'll feel like, as good as they were, and as good as it always is to win at Stamford Bridge, they could really have killed this tie off almost.
James, I'm reading here that Liam Rosenior is now the 7th consecutive Chelsea manager to fail to win their first match on the bench in charge at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. But there was some sort of spirited comeback from Chelsea that at least looked like there was some fight, and a good substitution with Garnacho coming on to have an impact in this game. But what was the feeling like inside the stadium from the supporters into the direction of Rosenior?
I think the challenge for Rosenior really is that there are real issues with the supporters and the people that appointed Rosenior. So when Arsenal went 3-1 up, you heard those chants of Roman Abramovich. That's nothing to do with how Rosenior is doing his job, and everything to do with the dissatisfaction with the owners, Clearlake and Todd Bowley and the like. And that makes it hard for Rosenior. I was really impressed. I think you saw there someone that was a real leader. He made the right tactical decisions. As you say, Garnacho's introduction was vindicated, and his team played with aggression and fearlessness. Honestly, it felt like watching the old Chelsea-Arsenal games, but this time, the roles were reversed. Arsenal were the big, strong, mature team who made sure that they won the moments. Chelsea had some really encouraging play, good young players like Estevao, but they just lacked that experience, cutting edge. And Liam Rosenior's got a 6-year contract. He's going to need a decent amount of that just to get that experience drilled into these players.
And Chelsea hoping to overturn their results at some point. But on this Wednesday, it was a defeat to Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, semi-final first leg. James Benge live from the bridge. Thank you for joining us, sir. Week's time, and here you see the numbers for Arsenal. Absolutely ridiculous over set pieces. They get that first goal from the corner. The delivery is right. The routines are right. Obviously, so much talk about them having the set piece coach and what he's done, but it is almost an unfair advantage over the rest of their opposition.
Yeah, they're doing something real special on these set pieces, and actually when they get a set piece, especially those corner kicks, you know the delivery is almost on point accurate every single time the ball's delivered. And we've been talking about Declan Rice over the last 2 weeks on our show, Chris, and of course we talk about his quality, what he can do in possession of the ball, his passing, his ability to get into the box, his ability to join in, but his dead ball delivery has continued to get better and better and better. And at Arsenal, I don't think it's been any better than it is right now. So he's a real weapon to have for them. The goals simply don't lie. But this was a spirited performance from Arsenal. They knew that wasn't going to be an easy performance, especially with Rosenior on the sideline for Chelsea. But Arteta's record is unbelievable. He is now the first manager to go unbeaten in 8 consecutive away games against Chelsea across all competitions, which is absolutely insane to say. The question really is, how good are Arsenal, right? Until they actually wrap up trophy after trophy after trophy, they've done nothing as far as I'm concerned, but they're certainly making it look a little bit easier as the games go by.
Yeah, and we'll see how they deliver in the Champions League as well come those latter stages of the competition. But on the Chelsea side, we see a bit of a rebuild going on under Liam Rosenior. How do you sort of identify what may be different about this team and what they still need? I think the goalkeeper could definitely be one that you look at as a real area of change.
Goalkeeper was embarrassing. I thought Sanchez was incredibly poor in this matchup. He did make a few saves in the game, but the 2 errors that he actually made, even the first one, that one right there off the set play, it was ridiculous. And he has continuously made mistakes this season, previous seasons, also for this football club. So can't imagine the Chelsea fans are too happy. And as you heard from James, it's very important to make sure defensively you've got to be solid. Stop making mistakes. You're allowing teams to just beat you or get 2-goal advantages on you. And when you're at home in front of your own fans, that not only just puts pressure on your players, it means that the players are going to hear it from their own supporters. It puts more pressure on the coaching staff very quickly. Rosenior's got to get it right. Now, I know he's got a 6-year contract, which is massive money, and it's fabulous to get this opportunity. He's terrific on the microphone, and he's handling it incredibly well. It's a lot of pressure. But Chelsea don't seem to care about how long the contracts are, right? They've got a lot of money to spend, and they'll happily fire and hire a new coach if you're not getting it right. But there was a bit of spirit coming from that second half. They've got players on the bench who are probably not happy that they were on the bench in this type of a game. You want to start in these games. These are massive games. I know it's the EFL Cup, but this is a big game and an opportunity to stake a claim to get into the starting 11 for Rosenior. But goalkeeper position, full stop. I want to see more goals from them. I think a striker, a number 9, who is actually a number 9 for them, would be obviously great to see. But a goalkeeper right now is just so what you need. I mean, you can't keep on making mistakes because it always puts you 1 or 2 goals behind.
Quickly, Arsenal going to the final?
Arsenal go to the final. Arsenal to win multiple trophies this year.
Wow.